The supercritical technology has come, and today above 300 atmosphere ultra supercritical technology has also come. Boilers have been designed to take care of this deterioration of the coal over the years, resulting in fairly large furnace, large size pulverizers, and auxiliaries as described below. Trends in cycle parameters, as you are aware, this from the 50s to today, there is a continuous improvement in cycle pressures, cycle temperatures, that's mainstream temperature, reheated temperatures, and all results in an improved efficiency. If you see the efficiency on HHE basis crossing 44%, we are expecting around 2017 with the ultra supercritical plants. So in the 1980s, we have the standard 175, 180 ATA bar cycles in 500 megawatt, and we are today we are using 250 bar with 568 superheat temperature, 596 as a standard cycle parameter for our once through supercritical boilers, and we are going ahead with our next stage, that is ultra supercritical bar with 300 bar and 620 degree. The growth of the cycles from 60s to 800 megawatt, there has been steady increase in the operating pressure from 90 ATA to 250 bar, and the corresponding increase in from mainstream temperature 542 to 568 and 596, and this is from the past 40 years. This is the history. Well, for improving the cycle efficiency, these are the main parameters: the mainstream pressure, increasing the superheater and double reheat temperature, and adopting double reheat, and increasing the vacuum condenser and the final feed water temperature. Of this, right now we will be concentrating on the first two, that is mainstream pressure and superheater reheat temperature. Adopting double vacuum is not, we do not foresee up to 1000 megawatt at least, and increasing the vacuum condenser is behind the boiler, beyond the boiler's territory. Again, the increase in the final feed water temperature, yes, there are additional heaters are being contemplated. And just for recapping, we have two types of boiler, drum type and once through boiler. Drum type operating natural circulation boiler is operating 150 ATA cycle with our 250 270 megawatt sets, and 500, 525, 600 megawatt sets operating on controlled circulation mode, where the pump is used, circulation pump is used to assist the thermo-siphon effect. And as you are seeing the curve, the natural circulation is up to 160, and beyond that is 175 is controlled circulation, and beyond that it will be once through. The supercritical boilers, the drum is dispensed with, and it has got a heat. It's only a single tube in which water and steam generated in the furnace valve passes through once through. That is what is called a once through. The entire thing is the pressure is developed by the boiler feed pump. So special care has to be taken in this, and sensibly it is heated in the feed water, economizer and furnace tubes until the water attains saturation temperatures and flashes instantaneously to dry saturated steam in our evaporators, that is water valves. So this is the drum type boiler which we are familiar with this. You can see the evaporator, that's the water valve, and in the once through boiler I am added with the circulation pump. And we got we have a separating vessel and a low load circulating system for startup system. This will be used only during the startup. The concept is the mass flow rate through all the heat transfer circuits, that's from economizer to superheater outlet, is to be kept same, except at part load, because at part load recirculation is necessary, because the heat flux what we are encountering is severe, and the flow is not sufficient to, therefore we'll have to go for a recirculation. That is maybe up to 30 to 40% load we'll have to go for recirculation, and beyond which we'll go on once through mode. So major differences with reference to drum type is evaporator system, low load recirculation, separator. These are the major difference with reference to drum type boiler. And you see, because we are going for a spiral wall design, the spiral wall design, what is the number of parallel parts are substantially reduced, thereby the mass flux density increases. Therefore, there will be efficient and effective cooling of the water valve tubes to encounter the high heat flux encountered in the once through boilers. But incidentally, because of the high mass flux density we are adopting, it also results in a substantial increase in our pressure drop. Instead of around 5 kg what we are using in a 500, 600, it may be around 40 kg or more. So that much extra pressure has to be developed by the feed pump. That's what I told in the earlier. So in addition to the spiral wall, where the number of parallel parts are reduced because the same tube is spirally wound around, the tube diameter is also correspondingly reduced drastically. So both this will give a reduced, increased water mass flux density. Well, as I told you again, the startup and load system, we'll have to again go for a small circulating pump. This is up to 30 to 40% we'll be using. Beyond that, this will be switched out. But one important thing is the feed water requirements are very stringent, because in drum type boiler we have blow down mechanism where we can control the purity. Here once the water comes, it will go as to final superheater. There is no way of controlling that. So the incoming water has to be ultra pure. And well, again, this is not the supercritical design. What we are giving is need not always operate in supercritical mode. Below 80% or 70%, it comes to subcritical mode. That is inevitable. That is how the system is designed. And with this supercritical, it is ideally suited for both sliding pressure operations due to the absence of thick-walled components, namely drum. This I have already told you. We have other systems. Instead of circulating pump, the water can be sent to the condenser through a heat exchanger. But that system was what we are used in Talcher and NTPC way back in 90s, but now it has become obsolete. It's virtually, we are using only circulating pump. So as given in the diagram, up to 40% recirculation range, and beyond which it will be once through. So we can see the operation at low load, a deaerator, feed pump, HP heater. And, well, in addition to that, if you want to go for a selective catalytic reduction, that is post-combustion. We have not right now tried this system in India, but it is operating worldwide. But this, where we are using this ammonia injection at high temperature, that is in a catalytic coated honeycomb module, that is situated above air preheater, because it requires high temperature. With this, as per the reaction given this, the NO and NO2 will be converted into nitrogen water. So this is worldwide operated. As such, in India, we have an NOx of 260 grams per gigajoule as the norms. With this, we are very well comfortable. There is no need to go for a SCR at this stage. If it becomes critical, we may have to think.